They were never really meant to be. He's rich, she's poor. He's gorgeous and everything any woman could ever want. Why couldn't he just choose someone that matched his status? Don't get me wrong, I never wanted to see him with his heart broken, but he knew the rules. Delilah Haston was reflecting on her son's current predicament. He had fallen in love and been forced to break up with the woman because she was from a low social class. Delilah's heart ached for him, knowing that societal expectations had placed such an unbearable weight on his shoulders. She remembered her own youth, the passion and dreams that had once burned brightly within her, now dulled by years of conforming to the rigid norms of their community. She wondered if she had made the right choices, or if she had merely surrendered to the pressures of a world that valued status over genuine connection. Oh well. It was too late for those thoughts now. She had made her choices, and now she would make his. Anthony Haston was handsome, well-educated, and the wealthiest man in his state. Yet, despite his outward success, there was a lingering sadness in his eyes that no amount of wealth could erase. His mansion, though grand and filled with every luxury imaginable, often felt empty and quiet, a stark contrast to the bustling energy of his business empire. Anthony's days were filled with meetings, decisions, and deals that shaped the economic landscape, but his nights were a different story. He would often find himself wandering the halls of his vast estate, haunted by memories of a simpler time when laughter and love filled his home. It was during one of these solitary evening strolls that he found himself drawn to the old library, a room he had not visited in years. Dusty shelves lined with books collected by generations of Hastons beckoned to him, each volume a treasure trove of stories and knowledge. As he reached for a worn leather-bound book, he noticed a small, intricately carved box tucked away in a corner. Curiosity piqued, Anthony opened the box to find a collection of letters tied with a faded ribbon. The letters, written in a delicate, flowing script, were addressed to his great-grandfather, a man known for his wisdom and kindness. As he read through the letters, Anthony felt a connection to his family's past, a sense of belonging and purpose that he had long been searching for. Determined to honor his heritage, Anthony decided to use his resources to make a positive impact on his community. He funded scholarships, supported local businesses, and invested in projects that brought people together. Slowly but surely, the emptiness in his life began to fill with the joy of giving and the satisfaction of seeing others thrive. And so, Anthony Haston, the handsome, well-educated, and wealthiest man in his state, discovered that true wealth was not measured by the size of one's bank account, but by the depth of one's connections and the difference one could make in the lives of others. It was this realization that led him to the charity event where he met Carmen Dublin, the forbidden love of his life. As their eyes met across the crowded room, an unspoken understanding passed between them, a recognition of kindred spirits. Carmen, with her radiant smile and unwavering dedication to helping those in need, was unlike anyone Anthony had ever met. She wasn't impressed by his status or his wealth. She saw through to the man he truly was. As the evening progressed, they found themselves in deep conversation, sharing stories of their pasts, their dreams, and their passions. Anthony was captivated by Carmen's intelligence, her compassion, and her vision for a better world. She spoke of her work at the community center, where she helped underprivileged children find hope and opportunity, and Anthony felt a stirring in his heart that he hadn't felt in years. Over the following months, Anthony and Carmen's bond grew stronger. They collaborated on numerous charitable projects, each success bringing them closer together. Anthony found a new sense of purpose in his life, one that transcended the material wealth he had once thought so important. With Carmen by his side, he felt he could truly make a difference in the world. But their love was not without challenges. Anthony's family and business associates were skeptical of Carmen, viewing her as a threat to their carefully curated social circles. Despite the whispers and the judgmental glances, Anthony stood firm, his resolve only strengthened by the love he felt for Carmen. One day, rumors reached his mother about Anthony's relationship with Carmen. She tried for months to sabotage their relationship. Despite her efforts, the bond between Anthony and Carmen only seemed to grow stronger. They were determined not to let anyone come between them, especially not his mother. Anthony decided it was time to confront the issue head on. One evening he sat down with his mother, his heart heavy but resolute. Mom, he began, his voice steady. I know you have concerns, but Carmen means the world to me. I need you to trust my judgment and respect our relationship. His mother, taken aback by his direct approach, sighed deeply. She loved her son dearly and wanted the best for him, but she also realized that she couldn't control his life. After a long pause, she nodded slowly. I just want you to be happy, Anthony, she admitted, her voice softening. If Carmen is the one who makes you happy, then I will try to accept it. Over time, Anthony's mother began to see the genuine love and happiness Carmen brought into her son's life. It wasn't easy, but she gradually opened her heart to the idea of welcoming Carmen into their family. Unfortunately, the change in Delilah was short-lived. As the rumors continued to spread, she was determined to put them to an end. She told Anthony that if she didn't leave Carmen, he would lose his inheritance. Anthony didn't care, but Carmen was heartbroken by his mother's stance on their relationship. However, Anthony remained resolute, assuring Carmen that his love for her was worth more than any inheritance. He promised her that they would build their own future together, independent of his family's wealth. Carmen, moved by his unwavering commitment, found strength in his words. As time passed, Delilah found herself more and more drawn to the idea of reconciliation. She sought advice from her closest friends and even began attending counseling sessions to address her own fears and prejudices. Slowly but surely, she began to understand that true love was a rare gift, one that should be cherished and supported. One day, with a heart full of hope and humility, Delilah reached out to Anthony and Carmen, inviting them to dinner. It was an evening filled with heartfelt conversations, apologies, and a genuine desire to start anew. By the end of the night, the walls that had once separated them began to crumble, replaced by the foundations of a new, stronger family bond. Anthony and Carmen's love had not only survived, but had also brought about a profound change in Delilah. It was a testament to the power of love, forgiveness, and the belief that even the deepest rifts could be healed with time and understanding. Together, they forged a path forward, united in their commitment to embrace the future with open hearts. Rumors had resurfaced about Carmen leaving Anthony because of his lost inheritance, claiming she returned only after it was restored. This news deeply troubled Delilah, who saw the logic behind the rumors. Determined to disrupt Anthony and Carmen's relationship, she falsely informed Anthony of Carmen's alleged infidelity and possible pregnancy. Despite Anthony's disbelief, Delilah presented him with doctored photos and fabricated lab results, leaving him heartbroken. Anthony confronted Carmen, his voice trembling with a mixture of anger and sorrow. Carmen, taken aback by his accusations, vehemently denied any wrongdoing. She pleaded with Anthony to see through the lies and recognize the truth in their love. The tension between them was palpable, each word exchanged leaving deeper wounds. Meanwhile, Delilah watched from the shadows, a smug smile playing on her lips. She believed her plan was flawless, that she had successfully driven a wedge between the couple. However, She underestimated the strength of the bond Anthony and Carmen shared. Despite the evidence presented, Anthony couldn't completely ignore the years of trust and affection they had built together. As days passed, Carmen set out to prove her innocence. She sought the help of a private investigator to uncover the source of the doctored photos and forged lab results. Her determination to clear her name and salvage their relationship ignited a new sense of purpose within her. With each piece of evidence she gathered, the truth slowly began to emerge. While Carmen was on a mission to find the truth, Delilah forced Anthony into an engagement with Lydia Finch. Lydia was stunning and seemed perfectly suited for Anthony. He didn't love her and didn't show her affection. The coldness of the relationship caused Lydia to seek warmth elsewhere. She found it in Anthony's brother, Andrew. Andrew was everything Anthony was not: attentive, kind, and genuinely interested in Lydia's thoughts and feelings. Their secret meetings became the highlight of Lydia's days, filling the void that Anthony's indifference had created. They would steal moments together whenever they could, sharing whispered conversations and stolen glances. One evening, as Lydia and Andrew sat by the lake, the setting sun casting a golden hue over the water, Lydia confessed her feelings. "Andrew, I can't continue this charade. My heart belongs to you, not Anthony." Andrew took her hands in his eyes reflecting the determination in his voice. "Then, we must tell him, Lydia. We cannot keep living in the shadows." Their future, Carmen's findings brought her to the brink of a revelation that could change everything. She had to decide whether to expose Delilah's manipulations and potentially free Lydia and Anthony from their loveless engagement, or to stay silent and protect the fragile peace they all maintained. The choice weighed heavily on her, knowing that sometimes the truth could set people free, but it could also shatter lives beyond repair. Andrew and Lydia strolled hand in hand on their way to inform Anthony about their love. Delilah, witnessing this, was shocked. She promptly intervened, instructing them to cease their relationship immediately. Delilah conveyed her disapproval, stating that they were disrupting everything and she would not tolerate it. Andrew and Lydia released each other's hands and departed with a sense of sorrow. As they walked away, the weight of Delilah's words hung heavily between them. The once joyous moment now felt tainted with sadness and uncertainty. They found a quiet bench in the park and sat down, their hearts heavy with the reality of the situation. "Lydia," Andrew began softly, "I don't want to give up on us. What we have is real and worth fighting for." Lydia looked into his eyes, her own brimming with unshed tears. "I feel the same, Andrew, but we need to find a way to make this work without causing more conflict." They sat in silence for a moment, contemplating their next move. The park around them was alive with the sounds of children playing and birds chirping, a stark contrast to the turmoil they felt inside. "We could talk to Anthony together," Lydia suggested, her voice filled with determination. "Maybe if we explain our feelings and intentions, he'll understand and support us." Andrew nodded in agreement. "It's worth a try. We owe it to ourselves and to him to be honest about our relationship." With renewed resolve, they stood up and made their way to Anthony's house. As they approached the front door, Lydia squeezed Andrew's hand for reassurance. He gave her a comforting smile, and they knocked, ready to face the challenges ahead with courage and honesty. Their attempts were futile as Anthony was not at home. From a distance, Anthony observed Carmen conversing with a man. Despite feeling intense jealousy, he pushed it aside and observed silently. Thoughts raced through his mind, suspecting this man to be the one she cheated with. With every passing moment Carmen spent beside the man, Anthony's heart shatter, stern further. Little did he know, the man was actually her private investigator. Anthony's mind was a whirlwind of emotions, each more chaotic than the last. He clenched his fists, trying to keep his composure, as he remained hidden in the shadows. Every laugh they shared felt like a dagger to his heart, but he couldn't bring himself to confront them just yet. He needed more information, more clarity. As he watched, Carmen handed the man a folder. The man nodded, flipping through the pages with a serious expression. Anthony's curiosity piqued. What could possibly be in that folder? His heart pounded a dinton walad in his chest as he strained to hear their conversation, hoping for a clue. Suddenly, Carmen glanced around, as if sensing someone was watching. Anthony held his breath, pressing himself further into the shadows, praying she wouldn't spot him. After a tense moment, she turned back to the man, and they continued their discussion. Anthony's mind was racing. Why would Carmen need a private investigator? And what was in that folder? He knew he had to find out, but he also knew he needed to be careful. One wrong move and his cover could be blown. For now, all he could do was watch and wait, hoping the answers would reveal themselves in time. After a few months, Lydia and Anthony's wedding was arranged. On the eve of their vows, both of them felt miserable about the forced marriage. Delilah was pleased with herself for achieving her goal. Almost. Her final task was to locate Carmen and invite her to the wedding. Delilah explained to Carmen that Anthony would only inherit his wealth if she attended the entire ceremony. Although shocked and puzzled, Carmen loved Anthony and didn't want to hinder his inheritance. Reluctantly, she agreed to attend. The day of the wedding dawned with a mix of emotions swirling through the air. Lydia, dressed in an exquisite gown, looked every bit the radiant bride, but her eyes betrayed her true feelings. Anthony, handsome in his tailored suit, wore a similar mask of forced happiness. Guests filled the beautifully decorated venue, their chatter and laughter creating a stark contrast to the tension that gripped the bride and groom. Delilah, ever the orchestrator, flitted about ensuring every detail was perfect, her satisfaction growing with each passing minute. Carmen arrived, her heart heavy, but her resolve strong. As she took a seat, she caught Anthony's eye, and for a brief moment, a silent understanding passed between them. She offered a small, reassuring smile, hoping to ease his burden even slightly. The ceremony proceeded with all the expected grandeur, yet an undertone of unease was palpable. During the exchange of vows, Delilah suddenly erupted into laughter, causing everyone to freeze and gaze at her, worried that she had lost her composure. Walking to the altar, she exclaimed, "I can't believe you are going through with this. Anthony, you love Carmen." Amid laughter, she continued, "Andrew, how could you let your brother marry Lydia? She's your soulmate." Addressing the crowd, she added, "Carmen, you're here. Quickly, the ushers will guide you to your wedding gown." The guests were bewildered, their whispers a rising tide of confusion and curiosity. Carmen, blushing furiously, stepped forward from the back of the room, looking both stunned and relieved. Anthony's face softened, realizing the truth he'd been denying for so long. Andrew, on the other hand, looked torn as Lydia stood beside him, her eyes wide with a mixture of shock and sorrow. Delilah, now standing confidently at the altar, turned to the officiant and said, "It seems we have a change in the program, but isn't that what love is about? Finding the right path, even if it means taking a detour." With a gentle smile, she motioned for Carmen and Anthony to come forward. The crowd's tension eased, replaced by an air of excitement and anticipation. As the ushers helped Carmen into her gown, Andrew took a deep breath, walked over to Lydia, and whispered something in her ear. She nodded, tears streaming down her face, but with a smile that spoke of acceptance and understanding. The ceremony now had an unexpected yet genuine authenticity. As Carmen and Anthony exchanged vows, their words were filled with a newfound sincerity that moved everyone present. Delilah's laughter had indeed changed everything, but in doing so, it had brought about the most honest and heartfelt union imaginable. After Anthony and Carmen exchanged vows, Delilah shifted her attention to Lydia and Andrew. "It's your turn," she said, handing them their rings with a proud smile. Lydia and Andrew stepped forward, their hands trembling slightly with excitement and nerves. The crowd watched with bated breath as Lydia took Andrew's hand, her eyes shimmering with tears of joy. "Lydia," Andrew began, his voice steady and filled with emotion. "From the moment I met you, my life has been brighter, fuller, and more meaningful. I promise to stand by your side through all of life's challenges and triumphs, to support your dreams, and to cherish every moment we share together." Lydia smiled, her heart overflowing with love. "Andrew, you are my best friend and my greatest adventure. I vow to laugh with you, cry with you, and grow with you. I promise to be your constant support, your confidant, and your partner in all things. Together, we can face anything." As they slipped the rings onto each other's fingers, a wave of applause and cheers erupted from the guests. Delilah beamed, knowing she had played a part in bringing these two souls together. The newlyweds sealed their vows with a tender kiss, and the celebration began anew, filled with joy, laughter, and the promise of a beautiful future. During the reception, Delilah was questioned by Anthony, Carmen, Lydia, and Andrew about her actions. Delilah's response, "Now the rumors will focus on me, not you," shifted the attention. Addressing Carmen, she mentioned, "You can let my son know he doesn't need to investigate me anymore." This puzzled everyone as Andrew and Anthony were not investigating her. Delilah clarified, "Not you. My eldest son, Fabian. I couldn't raise him."